Hi, I'm Sandra Louisa and this is the Let's Paint Club. Thank you for joining me today, and today we're going to paint a sunflower. Yes, we're going to get into the summery mood, because if it's winter where you are, it's nice to get away from those dull, dreary days, isn't it? So we're going to paint the sunflower with watercolours today, and the film will be about half an hour long. You can play, pause and then paint, and then play the next bit. So have fun, enjoy. We're going to be using 6 colours, and don't worry if you haven't got the absolute colours, you can use whatever colours you've got. Important thing is that you have a go, okay, and have some fun too and learn along the way. So the colours are, if you want to use these and if you have them, they are lemon yellow, cadmium yellow, vermilion red or cadmium red, cerulean blue, burnt umber and sap green. Also, you'll need to make sure you've got your brushes at hand, so watercolour round brushes sizes 12, which is a large, a medium size 8 and a small detail brush size 2 or thereabouts. Okay, the paper I use is £240 or 300 GSM. Make sure that's stuck down onto a board. I did it A3 size, but you can do it smaller or bigger if you want. That's up to you as well. You'll need some water, some kitchen towel to clean your brushes, some test paper as well. Okay, so have some fun. I'll see you at the other side. Let's get painting. Okay, so we're going to draw the sunflower. Just going to do a nice round circle just to suggest the centre there. Keeping it in basic shapes. And then for the petals, just lightly draw a circle around the outside of the other circle, so that you've got a rough guide of how far the petals come out, and then you can have an impression of where the stem's going to come out. So it needs to come out from the centre really there, doesn't it? So you can put that in first. So you've got this really simple base or template to work to. And then we can have some interesting shaped petals there. Beautiful shapes. Twisting and turning. Just using this outer ring as a guide. Some sit behind. Some are much broader than others. They've got the little points that just curl back. Make sure they all radiate out from this central point here. I'm using a flower just as your guide. As they come round, some have got irregular shapes to them, haven't they? It's just lovely to work outside for a change. Birds singing and your plane going overhead. Can't beat it working outside. Keep your drawing quite loose. And you can work around with the ring of petals behind as well. So just building on the petals, working in this outer ring, which is outside of this centre circle here. And that's our template, if you like, so that we know how far the petals can come out. Some are curled and wrapped round behind. Others sit neatly in front. Some of them appear to be wavering just in the wind. one coming out further than the others. There we go. Oh, just one more, just coming round there. Okay, and then we can look at the stem there. We've got a leaf that comes round just underneath. Just join in, keep it a simple shape, not too detailed. Lips up there as it folds over, and we've got the odd leaf that sits behind the flower as well, which is really beautiful. Just keep looking. Okay. Wavering about in the wind. It's quite a windy day today. Where the leaf just joins the stem there. There we go. And we've got this leaf that just curls up in front of the stem. One that sits behind. There we go. Just an indication of the vein. Standing back. I think we just do one more leaf on this side just to balance it out a little bit. The main vein there. Where it curls. There we go, back into the main stem again. Okay, and they're all ready then to paint it out. Okay, so I'm just going to start adding some background paint with cerulean blue and just soak some of it with some water. I'm going to do it very casually. I want this to be quite loose. Some overs. Don't mind if some of the paper is dry, but I'm not working the water over the flower or the leaves. And aeroplane going overhead there, the joys of working outside. So diagonal working with the brush, size 12 watercolour brush. Varying degrees of cerulean blue, some of it stronger, some of it paler. Working in between some of those petals very quickly. I'm not going to be too neat, I want it to be relaxed and expressive. I come down to where the paper's dry and just re-wet it, wetting it as I go. There we go. Nice and loose. It just gives you the effect of sky behind the plant. Make sure you bring it over the masking tape. And don't worry about the white gaps there, that's fine. Working in between those leaves. There we go. So I'm not looking for perfect outlines, I'm looking for something that's expressive and free. Just move that out the way a little bit. It's allowed to vary, the more variation the better. A little splatter of paint as well. Just across the background there. There we go. Okay, just let that rest and dry for a moment. Okay, so I'm just going to mix up some lemon yellow now. A fair amount. We're going to look at the petals and just start blocking them in nice and loosely. Get some different colours in going in there. Working your way round. Don't worry where you've got some blue. Just keep it nice and loose. Go. We can block in the middle shape as well. And we can look at the leaves too. Nice and zingy. So you can do it quite wet into wet. You've got the pencil marks there to pick out the individual shapes at the moment. this is our base colour for the painting. Sticking with the size 12 brush. Painting the whole flower. There we go. You can have different tones in there, that's not a problem. Just paint over any splatter. Okay, you see how loose that is. And I'm going to come in with a size 8 brush now. And I've got some cadmium yellow here, which I can start looking at using as well. And a bit of vermilion, or you could use cadmium red. Fairly wet mix of paint. Nice strong colour. There we go. Just picking out where it gets darker on some of those leaves there, on some of those petals. Especially where it comes down towards the centre. Keep looking at the flower. And it to go wet into wet if you want. At its darkest where it joins the centre of the flower. There we go. The joy of summer. It's all looking like fun already. A little more strength on the stem. Just in the centre there. Bring those out. Good. Okay, so just looking at the centre of the flower, and I've got some vermilion with some cadmium yellow mixed up to make a nice orange, and we're just going to get some water on the centre now, just so I can, with my medium-sized brush, just dab some water on, so we've got little dots of dry areas and dots of wet. And there we go, in the centre, just around the centre there. And then I'm going to pick up my orange and just dab that in. There we go. little dots with the end of the paintbrush. Okay, we're going to leave the very centre because that's a different colour. Okay, and then what you can do is you can pick up some burnt umber. And I've got some in my palette here already. Small about burnt umber. I'm just going to dab that around the very edge. Whoa, look at that. Tiny dots. So it gives this the edge of the flower. That's okay, just let it wash in if it needs to. Okay. A little bit darker just around there. Wow. That really brings it out. How lovely. And I'm going to let that dry before I do the rest of the centre. Whilst I'm waiting, I'm going to pick up some of the yellow green that I mixed up with cerulean blue and cadmium yellow. I'll just look at the stem. A bit more tone on there. Sticking with the medium brush, size 8. Okay, I can start just looking at some of the leaves there as well, using the same mix of colour, cadmium yellow and cerulean blue. You get sort of a nice sap green. Do vary your greens a bit. Starting at the top. Keep it nice and wet so it moves about and blends. You get nice variations. Keep it expressive. It's that dark against light for the petals, so make sure you've got darker green against those petals where their leaves will be in shadow. Lovely leaf just at the bottom of the flower. There we go. Just brings those petals out, doesn't it? And soften that edge, don't let it dry. Keep it really loose. Make that a little bit darker in there. Okay, and gradually you can work around all of the petals and all of the leaves. Okay, so just looking carefully at the leaves there that we've done, and you can see that I've just left where it's turned upwards. So you've got a turn in the leaf, a lip lifting up of the leaf. Just leave that as the first light yellowy green colour, and then it sits into the painting but stands forward in front of the darker green that we've just been doing. So I've done all of the leaves there. Keep it loose and wet. I'm just going to put some tone into the actual stem now. So using a small brush and some dark green with the same mix, cerulean blue and cadmium yellow. Just a tiny little line along that left edge there. Just mind your hand if your painting's still wet. And just allow it to taper off at the bottom. And see that there? Any areas that need bringing out a bit more, so you could make a bit more of this area here. Just by painting along, whilst it's still a bit damp, it will bring it out. There you go, see how that comes forward now. Just use a damp brush. There you go. And then we can just use some paint just to give us some tone on some of these stems. Like so. Again, this is an expressive painting, so we don't want it to be too tight. Just underneath that stem there. There we go. It's kind of launching out from the main stem, isn't it? Up into the leaf. Temptation is just to make that bit darker so it just comes out a bit more. But I want to keep it nice and loose, so I don't want to do too much. Mixing up some more green just for this stem here. Lovely. Let it taper off. Right, so now we're going to look at the flower itself, and we're going to come back into this area here again. Just use my little brush, nice and clean, and have some little spots of water on like we did before. So you've got areas that are wet and areas that are dry. Just with your size 2 brush and some of that green that we've just been using. Just dabbing in. There we go. And little circle dots. Some wet, some dry. Some of them blending in, some of them aren't. Now to see the paint work. And you get some darker blue-green in there as well. A little bit of shading in there. Lovely. So I'm just going to pick up some of the orange at the bottom of the petals there. So there's that vermilion red and cadmium yellow. This nice little orange mix with your size 2 brush. Just where it comes right into the petals at the base there. Not too much, less is more. See that? Just a little bit here and there. One at a time. Again, keep it quite loose. Just so that you're bringing out some of those petals. Shading it as you go. Let's see how bright that's looking now. I won't forget to stand back so you can see how it's looking. Getting funny now, I'm just going to pick up some cadmium yellow and just do a few splurts of expressive colour here and there. There you go, just have fun. Let's take some of it off on the picture. You can knock back or tap back any bits you're not keen on. there is one sunflower. Happy summer. So how did you get on then? Did you enjoy that? I hope you learnt a few tips and techniques. It's great just to have a go and have a practice and just experiment and explore and try something different. So thank you for joining me today. Do, if you like the film and like having a go, or simply if you just sat and watched and enjoyed it, please do subscribe to my channel. That's the Let's Paint Club. Do share it on social media and I'll make some more. See you next time. Bye for now.